When American astronaut Neil Armstrong first set foot on the moon in 1969, an era of optimism and innovation took off. An era propelled by a new generation.
26 years old was the median age of each and every one running the Apollo mission to the moon.
And now, on the outskirts of Dubai's sprawling city, another group of young scientists are striving to make history, setting their sights even further to become the first Arab mission to send a probe to another planet.
Everybody in the Arab world knows that the UAE program is done by a whole bunch of young kids, men and women in their 20s and maximum 30s. So they are kids.
Historically, the development of space science in the Middle East has been fraught with challenges. Previous generations struggled to achieve their aspirations.
It hurts sometimes, looking back at it, to think that all that we accomplished, no one else had accomplished. It was an exception, and yet the whole effort that we put into it was forgotten.
Can young people in the region reach for the stars and lead the Middle East into a new era of scientific discovery? Centuries ago, in the midst of the Islamic Golden Age, the Middle East was a leader in science and astronomy.
They looked at the sky and they figured out the sky is their monitor. They didn't have compasses and they traveled at night. So they looked at the stars to figure out their positions and where their directions might be.
Islamic scholars charted the skies, changing the way we view space today.
To this day, all of the patterns of the stars in the sky are named after Arabian names. All of these things are Arabic words.
Instead of charting the skies, these young engineers are analysing software systems, racing towards a major deadline to design, create and launch a satellite into space.
This project is their night and day and every breathing moment for the last 3 years. For us, it's the biggest challenge of our careers.
This is the Mohammed bin Rashid Space Centre. Founded more than a decade ago, it has already launched 2 satellites into orbit. But it's also home to the most ambitious space program in the Middle East, the Emirates Mars mission.
We're sending a spacecraft to Mars in its capacity of studying the Martian atmosphere. For the first time, we're providing the world and scientists with data about the weather on Mars and the changes that happen to that atmosphere throughout the entire year.
31-year-old Sarah Alamiri is heading up the project and believes that age is the driving force that will propel the mission towards success.
The average age on this mission is 27 years old. Youth makes up a large portion of the Arab world, and it's about creating that positive impact that youth could have.
A youthful mission that's also homegrown. From its design to components to manufacture, Emirati engineers and scientists will build the Al-Amal or Hope probe completely from scratch.
This mission is 100% run by Emiratis. Manufacturing for any space mission does not necessarily happen with any one entity. So the Emirati team is largely embedded within a larger team that's made up of different nationalities and people from different backgrounds based on experience and based on what they bring to the table. This mission will be fully assembled here in the UAE at its final stages before it's sent on to be launched.
The culmination of a dream that has long been in the making for this young nation.
Actually, in 1974, I was sent by the U.S. State Department on a lecture tour in the Gulf region to speak about scientific results of the Apollo missions to the moon in Arabic.
Farouk El-Baz is one of the region's most renowned space scientists. Born in Egypt, he has in-depth knowledge of what it takes to work on a successful space mission.
Yeah, that's good. This is a picture during the mission at NASA Houston. This is the Mission Control Center. I was the man responsible for the justification for the selection of the landing sites for all missions.
Capcom, we're go for landing. 3,000 feet. You're looking great.
When we're sitting there watching the screens and waiting for Neil Armstrong to land on the moon for the first time, we were all flying with him.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
I wasn't really thinking of myself as an Egyptian or anything. I was thinking of myself as a human being. Thinking, wow, we're going to land on the moon, and my God, it is wonderful that I played part of that magnificent accomplishment. We didn't think of ourselves as making history, but we were thinking of taking humanity with us. We're taking human beings and the mental capacity of humans all the way to the moon.
But Farouk's Egyptian heritage became instrumental in raising awareness about space and science in the region.
The moon landings had a great impact on the Middle East, and they were part of that global wave of enthusiasm. So the United States sent astronauts on tours of the region, accompanied by Farouk El-Baz.
So I met all King Faisal and Sheikh Zayed and Sheikh Khalifa. Everybody in the Middle East were delighted to know that there was a representative of the Arab world in the Apollo missions to the moon.
This meeting was the symbolic start of the country's relationship with space. Today, Farouk is helping to see that dream of reaching the stars become a reality, passing on his expertise.
Farouk El-Baz is working on the setup of the UAE Space Agency. Collaboration is currently making space exploration successful for all countries. So it's good to get expertise from various backgrounds.
A transfer of knowledge and growing partnerships that are helping this generation to move forward, learning from the lessons of the past.
Every point you see here is just noise.
We're going to enter the cocoa paradise now.
Yes.
So.
Do you make a lot of recipes with chocolate?
I do. I use a lot of chocolate. After this trip, I think I will treat my chocolate differently.
Yes.
I hope we get to taste a lot of chocolate. It's like biting in a mango. I taste a little bit of banana.
Banana.
Yeah? Ooh. Wow.
Amazing.
It's incredible. I'm not seeing cocoa trees every day on the Champs-Élysées in Paris.
I know.
It's extremely interesting for me to see where it actually grows, where it comes from.
Yes.
Back to the roots of the raw product, you know?
Yeah.
www.bebrazil.com.br. All new African voices. This week, from food trucks to craft breweries, innovation rocks Africa's culinary scene.
We feel that Mama Rocks is an artistic expression of how we see ourselves.
African Voices, Sunday on CNN, in association with Glow.
By 2021, an unmanned probe will travel more than 60 million kilometers into Martian orbit, sending atmospheric data back to scientists in Dubai's Mohammed bin Rashid Space Center. A new spirit of international collaboration is propelling the country into global space exploration.
Science runs on collaboration. It runs on international collaboration. It runs on various perspectives that are inputs into the scientific process. And this mission is not any different than that. We are driven by collaboration.
Working with a number of partners from around the globe, technology transfer is enabling this new generation to pursue scientific discovery. But it hasn't always been that way in the Middle East.
When I moved to Lebanon, teaching in a very small Armenian college, space was not in the forefront. However, it soon became very popular because of our Soviet Union launching rockets into space and the Americans trying to catch up. And for me, it was the perfect time to join in with the race. Some may laugh, but that did not make any difference to me because it was a dream I had about launching rockets, and I pursued it 100%.
In his early 20s, Manoug Manougian founded a small society teaching students about rocketry in Lebanon.
It all started when I was assigned to teach mathematics and physics in a very small liberal arts college where science was not the emphasis. So for me, the question was, how do I inspire my students about physics and chemistry? In what better way than rockets?
Starting small, the amateur group built the rockets from scratch, launching their first one in 1961.
These were people who were just inspired by the space race, who were infected by the fever of everything related to rockets and satellites and space. These were students led by a professor who just built by themselves ever bigger rockets.
It was not notoriety that we gained, but rather we were known as rock stars in the realm of Lebanon. They considered this as an important advance in what was happening in Lebanon. They were pleased with what we were doing and proud of it.
Through their own research and determination, the society achieved a lot more than they'd ever imagined, sending a homemade rocket into low orbit.
It was good because they were working under very tough conditions. They didn't have that much support from other scientists and technologists abroad, either in the Soviet Union or in the United States of America or in Europe. Yeah, so they had to work on their own, and they had to generate some ideas on their own and do it with very little funds. So they came up with as much as they could.
But today, young scientists in the region are getting plenty of international support and the chance to play a role in history.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, this one's pretty amazing. Scientists say they have found the best place to look for life on other planets.
Yeah, and it's not just one planet they've discovered.
In February last year, NASA announced a major discovery: the TRAPPIST-1 system, 7 Earth-like planets that could possibly host life.
The discovery was also remarkable for the Arab world because a Moroccan observatory was central to the discovery.
The observations are very important because space is not about sending a man to the moon. The actual sending to the moon was the vehicle, but the objective was to learn about the moon.
Sitting in a small observatory nestled in Morocco's Atlas Mountains, Khalid Bakawi played a crucial role in NASA's discovery.
Khalid managed the observation, and he took also care of analyzing the data. It was a very important role in the discovery that helped us to reveal the architecture of the TRAPPIST-1 system.
The Arab world has produced many great modern scientists, but a lot of them went to Europe or went to America in order to pursue their careers. Khalid Barkawi is such an inspiration because he's a scientist who is not just Arab, but who also works inside the Arab world.
It's good, that's delightful to see that there is a 25-year-old Moroccan youth that would do something like that is wonderful, and I think the Arab world has many of these kinds of youth. If they're given the opportunity, if they are trained well and so on, they can do just as well.
Providing opportunity for the younger generation is happening throughout the region. In Qatar, Khalid Al-Subay leads the country's exoplanet survey.
Arab legacy is about adding and preserving the human being knowledge in the dark ages. And we are exactly just following suit.
Founded in 2009, the survey's already discovered 6 planets classified as hot Jupiters. Discoveries thousands of light years away, having an important impact on the ground.
It is much more important than just a legacy or fame to attract young children, young students to go for science. And that, for us, is really the big target here.
My technology or my invention, I think the next big thing.
From universities to television shows, Qatar is harnessing intellectual minds from around the region, investing in a future where science and innovation are top of the agenda.
Qatar initiated a very specific program. They bring in scientists from abroad to Qatar to work on research topics that have an impact on either Qatar or the Gulf area or the Arab world. And that worked out very nicely. People have recognized now that the youth in the Arab world is the future. Their kids are intelligent and they're smart and they want to do better and they want to prove themselves.
With Qatar and other Gulf nations actively giving them that opportunity.
Sunday, 2 Koreas marching under one flag. Kim Jong-un's sister shaking hands with South Korea's president. Is the spirit of friendly competition bringing new harmony between North and South? A look at the politics of the Olympics. Fareed Zakaria, GPS, Sunday.
What if there was no language barrier and we could all understand each other? What if we could try before we buy in a realistic way? What if all our food was truly fresh from a farm right outside our door? What if anyone, anywhere could become a concert pianist or a surgeon? Amazingly, our what-ifs are close to becoming we can. Welcome to Biz Frontiers, tonight on CNN, in association with Jeffco.
I'm Rosemary Church. This is CNN.
Three, two, one. We have booster ignition and liftoff. Liftoff of Discovery, and the shuttle has cleared the tower.
In 1985, Saudi Prince Sultan bin Salman made history. He became the first Arab, the first Muslim, and the first member of royalty in space.
Sultan ibn Salman was a royal prince, but he was also a very good flyer, a pilot.
At 28 years old, Prince Salman joined a multinational crew on a 7-day mission to space.
No, I remember being very proud. Here is an Arab and a kid, younger than I, who is only a pilot. He's not a great scientist of note, and he is now doing very well on the mission. He was first to look from space and describe it in Arabic. So it was really many of the things, the little things that appeal to the psyche of the Arab youth, that he is just like us, that he was able to do this. Well, maybe I can do it someday.
His story became a symbol of what people in the region could do and inspired a whole generation to look at space and science.
Dear Sultan, we are proud of your mission.
Because he was the first Arab to go into space, it was a huge thing. I think it had a huge impact on the Middle East, especially to the youth. But this was, as far as I'm concerned, that was the whole purpose. This is charging them to move and move fast, because any one of them can do that if he's trained well, and if he's given the opportunity, he can do it.
Touchdown at mission elapsed time 7 days.
The UAE space mission is adopting that approach, emboldening a generation of young people to pursue their passions.
We're at the Mohammed bin Rashid Space Center science event, and the entire purpose of this event is to engage the entire community. We're talking about the Emirates Mars mission, and the entire purpose of developing the Emirates Mars mission is to stimulate an entire generation that is thinking about science, thinking about discovery, and thinking about challenging themselves every single day.
For Sarah Al-Amiri, the Emirates Mars mission is more than just sending a probe into orbit.
What drove the science and technology sector in the US? It was just having with that one monumental large goal of let's go and put a man on the moon. And space can do that to you. That endless sort of boundaryless beauty that space is provides you with that monumental shift in the people, and it moves children, and it moves families, and it moves parents.
In the classrooms of the UAE, one teenager is looking further than the moon. In 2017, Alia Al-Mansouri became the first international winner of the Genes in Space contest.
2, 1.
And she watched as her experiment on how space affects the health of living organisms blasted off for the International Space Station.
It was the first time I ever watched a rocket launch in real life. I was very happy, and the fact that my experiment was on there is just, it makes me really proud that I'm doing something for my country and for the youth all around the world.
With her passion for science fueled by the competition, Alia's ambitions continue to grow.
My ultimate dream is to be the first astronaut on Mars. Astronauts do something that not every profession does, and that is to inspire young people and adults as well. They inspire everyone, and that's why I want to be an astronaut.
For Sarah, Alia's generation is the key to the country's future ambitions.
When we set off developing the space program here in the UAE, it was very key to focus on the youth, because we want to create a transformation, a change in perspective, a change in the society, a change to our approach to thinking about things. It's transforming an entire society to exploration.
The Arab world has wonderful resources, but especially in terms of its youth. So many young people, so many creative people. I'm optimistic that Arab countries can channel all these intellects, all these creative minds into a science that is for the benefit of not just a specific country, not just the region, but of humanity as a whole.
Young, innovative minds that will strive a lot further than their ancestors.
I think space science is just beginning now to take baby steps in the Middle East. So from that point of view, it is an exciting time in the region. And that, to me, I think, is the spark that ignites emphasis on the youth. Because right now, everybody in the Arab world knows that the UAE program of Amal is done by a whole bunch of young kids, men and women in their 20s and maximum 30s. So they are kids. That's very much like the way the Apollo program was done. So it is okay to have young kids, Emirati men and women, to run the mission to Mars.
It's an entire country backing up its youth to go to Mars. It's a very strong message of, one, we do believe in the capabilities of our youth, to the youth of the region, and two, if you provide them with opportunity, they can create great things.
Looking beyond today to recruit the first Emirati astronauts, and even researching the development of a colony on Mars.
20 years from now, there will be someone on Mars from the UAE. Don't believe me.
The region is being propelled into the forefront of space exploration through the generation that they are nurturing.
Inside the Middle East, in association with MISC.